Hello again everyone. So today I'm going to talk you through all the modifications I've done to this tank wagon. It's a model from Walthers. Here's the instructions. You can see it's a 5200 series 54-foot funnel flow tank car. That's not difficult to say at all. And here's a pre-production model photograph on the instructions. So I've put this kit together. It goes together pretty easily. There's not a huge amount of parts on it. And then I've given it an additional weathering job to make it look really well worn. And I'm just going to run you through all the ways I've painted this and made it look like this. One of the problems with this model has been this split at the bottom of the tank here. I don't know whether that's just a manufacturing fault from Walthers on these particular tank wagons or whether it's just happens to be this kit. But you can see that I've tried my best to get this together, but it's just not gone together. Thankfully, it's on the bottom. It doesn't follow through on the top. However, I did have other issues up here because it didn't align properly. So therefore, I had to do quite a lot of sanding to the top of this model. I've tried to disguise that issue by adding additional matte black paint up here to represent spilled oil all the way along the top of this wagon, and also some corrosion as well. And I've pulled that corrosion down the side of the tank to add to all the staining. I've tried to put extra layers here. So initially it was a wash of really dark grey over this and just let it spill down the side of the tank. And once that had dried, I then dry brushed on additional matte black and this various shades of rust, which was just different mixes of brown colour. And you can see that it gathers in points like this, indicate the rust coming down here. And what was really good by additional dry brushing on top of this was that it built up a texture as well. And you can see the texture there. It's actually worked out really well. I'm really happy with how the rust looks on here, especially down this end of the tank. I think this bit looks really good. And obviously the washes come down over the top of the decals that are on here. And also I've tried to make an indication here that this has been cleaned off at some point, but then weathered over the top of it again. So it's got that kind of surround as if somebody's wiped it in real life. This platform up here has these handrails all the way around. They're not quite right though. I think I've got them in the right place, but it does look as though these aren't at 90 degrees. Again, I think this is maybe because of this wire from the model, but the weathering continues up here around the hatch, and I've really tried to go to town with the dirt and rust up the top there. At this end, there's just a safety bar here. I'm looking around the other side of the tank. It's very much similar to the first side, but I've just tried to vary it a little bit more rust here, for example. And you can see here where the washes come down over the top of the logo, the Exxon logo here. And then at this end of the tank, you've got the brake wheel, which I've added some rust to as well. And also up here, some additional rusting all the way along the top of the tank here. This handrail here is a bit wobbly, but I think it's going to survive okay. And the trucks, I've just given them a bit of basic rusty brown colour. I think the wheels could be doing with being changed. They're just the plastic standard wheels. And you can see the axles there still as they came from the factory. So it might be an idea to put a bit of black paint on them or change these wheels for metal ones. So overall, I'm really happy with how this tank came out. It didn't take a long time to do this. Most of the time was spent just waiting for the washes to dry, and then dry brushing over the top was quite quick. This one though, I've had my fun with it. I think it's time to let it go, so it is heading to eBay. If you're considering weathering your wagons, then I think it's a real good thing to do because it really makes them look a lot more realistic, I think. Starting off with a wagon like this, an American railroad wagon, is a good start, especially here in the UK because you can pick these up really cheap. They're not very popular. So something like this you can get for less than £10. And therefore, if you mess it up, it's not a big outlay and you don't want to start doing your weathering on a very expensive locomotive. Maybe try it on a few wagons first. Plus, also there's a lot of source material on the internet. You can get pictures of these tank wagons, no problem at all. And then you can use that as inspiration and just check where the weathering goes on it. So then you can make the weathering look very realistic as well. So that's it. This is my Walthers tank wagon. It's been a great little project to do. I hope you enjoyed this video and this gives you some inspiration to weather your wagons. I'm going to put this on the turntable so you can see all the way around. If you did like this video, please give it a thumbs up and you can subscribe for more videos like this. But that's it for today. See ya!